YouTube, I'd like you to meet Al, Andy, Nick, Chris and Andrew. Together, we all spent the last 2 months on an expedition in China. Our aim was to climb the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. This is our Everest journey. Good morning everyone. I've just arrived in Terminal 4 at Heathrow with all my kit. And it's an absolute nightmare traveling between terminals with my massive bag and boots. I remember this from last year and I absolutely hate it. I'm just heading up to the check-in desk now to go get my bag on my flight to Delhi, and then we're heading down from Delhi to Kathmandu after that, and then going to grab a little bit of breakfast. There we go, 12:30 to Delhi. After a lot of airplane food later and a long wait in Delhi airport, I finally arrived in Kathmandu. I've just arrived in Kathmandu after a full 24 hours travelling. I left, it's now 5 AM UK time, and I left at 5 AM yesterday. I'm absolutely exhausted, but my bag has made it, which is the main thing. So we're now getting a taxi to our hotel, which is actually the same one I stayed in last year. I'm surprised it's still standing after the earthquake. So one of the guys from Adventure Peak is actually met me at the airport, which is really nice. So I don't have to get a cab home to the hotel. We got our customary little orange I've completely forgotten about how the driving was here. I've never been anywhere in the world where I drive as mad as I do in Kathmandu. Just arrived at the hotel. This year I'm in here. Which will be absolutely perfect for the next couple of days. We're here tonight, tomorrow, and then the next day we're setting off to fly to Lhasa, which is in China, and then we're dropping into base camp from there. Now it's time for bed, and I'm going to catch up with the rest of the team when they arrive later today. So I've just been walking around Kathmandu, and most of it seems to have recovered absolutely fine after the earthquake, although there are still parts that you can tell are still suffering massively. We've just got back from our first dinner in Kathmandu. We're still waiting on 2 more of the team arriving. They should both be arriving tomorrow. I have a little bit of shopping to do. I need to get some medicine for when we go to altitude, and I also need to change a little bit of money. We have sadly had a slight change of plan, as apparently there's been an issue with our visa getting into China, so it means we might have to stick around in Kathmandu for about another week, and the fans will need to be here for a couple of days. So we might look at doing another trip like we did last year. We went up the Langtang village, a little bit of trekking, or just there's a drive apparently we can do which gets us to quite high altitudes. So really we're just trying to get some altitude gain before we get to base camp. So it means that we're kind of slightly more acclimatized when we get there. Now it is currently only 9:15 local time, but I have had very little sleep in the last what feels like forever. So I'm now going to head to bed, and we're going to explore Kathmandu tomorrow.
The plan is to build an itinerary which allows us to get pretty high, to do some sensible acclimatization. So the favoured option at the moment in terms of acclimatization is to take it. It's about a 4-hour drive over to a town called Besi Sahar. So to drive on normal road, stay the night there. So this will be leaving tomorrow morning, or tomorrow sometime during the day. Then the next day will be a jeep drive for 6 hours up the track. Very spectacular track that I did last year, but it does give us the best opportunity to acclimatise and use these 6 days to best effect.
We just had our first team meeting with Chris, and it turns out that the visa for China has been delayed a week as we thought. So we're going to drive over to the Annapurna range for a week instead, trying to do a bit of acclimatization over there. We've got a 3-day drive, 2 days of trekking, and then 1 day back, and then flying to China on the 11th instead. Flying to Lhasa on the 11th, and then driving to base camp from there. We've been out doing a little bit of shopping today, and as you can probably hear around me, it is absolute madness in Kathmandu. There is nowhere quite like it, but walking into everybody. Nick is just currently getting a couple of badges sewn onto his jacket, kind of sponsorship stuff, and it's from the same guy that we got our... that Rupert and I got our t-shirts sewed at last year. So this morning we were heading over to the Annapurna range to do a bit of acclimatization. We are going to spend about 11 hours travelling, which is not going to be ideal, but we have been able to pack some of our kits here, and all this stuff is getting sent straight to base camp, so we're not going to see that again for a while. Today we're going to spend 4 hours in this and 10 hours in one of these. Well, we've just finished the hottest 4-hour journey of my life, and now we're stopping for a little bit of lunch, and then the 4x4s are coming here to pick us up, and then it's about another 7-hour journey to where we're staying tonight. So yesterday we got a little bit delayed on our way to the Annapurna range, so we ended up doing the bus journey in the morning, which was 4 hours, so we've now got a 10-hour journey today to make up for the ground we didn't cover yesterday. So I don't think it's going to be a great day. It's just going to be 10 hours of bouncing around in the back of a van, but it will get us up to about 3,000 meters, and then hopefully it's just going to cut a day off our journey into base camp, so it should save us a little bit of time then. So we've just stopped in this little town for some lunch, and that has to have been one of the most unpleasant 5-hour journeys of my life. We still have about another 5 hours to go, and it genuinely, you cannot describe how bad. It's not even a road, it is a mountain track that we've somehow managed to ram 2 4x4s up, and I'm not looking forward to the rest of the day.
So did you get another one this time?
I got a bag last time, which I wish I hadn't got. It's absolutely useless.
Got the black one?
Yeah.
Like, there's quite a few had a bit of an accident. There was that Norway.
Mine's soaking too. So we've just arrived at our digs in Manang. It's not great. First thing is the tarpaulin wasn't over our bags on the back of the 4x4, so my bag is soaking. This is Andy, his bag is soaking. But on the upside, I don't need the shits. So we've just set off on our first day of acclimatization today. You can already feel the air's really thin. We're up about 3,500 meters. We're trying to get up to about 4 today. We stayed in the village of Manang last night, and that is 3,500 meters. And it's already noticeably more difficult to sleep, although we do get used to it, so hopefully by tonight, if not tomorrow, we should be absolutely fine. This is the Annapurna range, and the scenery is absolutely stunning. Well, we have just got back from our first day of walking, our first acclimatization walk. We got up to about 4,200 meters today, and I think everybody felt okay. One of the girls in the group seemed to have got a little bit of a bug. I'm not too sure how she is just now, and apart from that, it's just the usual, everybody's tummy is not 100%, and that always seems to happen whenever we go away. I've somehow been okay, touch woods, so far, I'm sure that will change though. The weather was absolutely lovely for the start of the day, and it's now started, well, it was raining and now snowing, so we're not too sure what we're going to do tomorrow, as we're meant to be doing another acclimatization walk. We're trying to go a bit higher so we get some more altitude, but if the weather is going to clamp in again like it did today, then we're probably just going to stay around the same height. Next day, drive back down, a couple of days in Kathmandu, and then we're flying into Lhasa afterwards, as we've now been granted our visa on the 11th. Well, we are currently on our second day of acclimatization in the Annapurna range. We have another beautiful day and a great view. We are up about 4,500 meters just now, and we feel okay. It's only our second day, as I think I already said, and it's quite high, I think, for 2 days. So some of the guys have gone a little bit higher, but I don't think I'm going to bother, as I feel okay just now, and I don't really want to go back down with a sore head. I got absolutely zero sleep last night, and I just don't think I've fully acclimatized to this height yet. Well, I had even more bad news from Chris in that Mohan, our agent, has said that the border is not open on the 11th. So we're finding out tomorrow if it's actually going to open later or at all. So hopefully it's good news, otherwise that'll be 2 years on the trot, which would be very disappointing. I don't really know what else. We have another day here in Manang now, because since the border was closed we're going to wait and then drive back down. Whenever, we don't really know. We know nothing just now. We're just waiting on a call from our agent. Today we are still at Manang. We're meant to drive down to Kathmandu today. Chris is getting a call around about noon, and that'll be when we find out kind of what's going on with the Chinese border. My gut feeling is that we'll be going home. I felt like this last year just after the earthquake, and to be honest it really does suck, but I don't know anymore just now. We've just had our first bit of good news from Chris. Our agent Mohan has been in touch and said that the Chinese have decided to open the border, so we'll be flying in on the 12th. Hopefully getting to base camp about the 15th. Last year we got there on the 14th, so it's only a day later, so hopefully that shouldn't have too much of an impact on our trip. It really has lightened the mood of everyone. Everyone was definitely a little nervous. I know I was. We were just worried that that was going to be the second year in a row that was kind of that our trip would be cancelled and out with our control. But at the moment, good news. We're heading back down tomorrow, so we've got another 10-hour ride in the Jeep, which will be a sore ass at the end of it, but at least it's progress. That is the 4x4 we're currently meant to be driving down in. Smoking more than a bonfire. We've just arrived back at our hotel, and I'm covered in dirt, easily like a layer of sweat. That was the worst 10-hour 4x4 ride of my life. We're now going to have a shower. I'm probably going to wash in my clothes to try and clean them. Everything is dirty. Well, I've just had 2 showers in a row and I feel slightly cleaner. I am dreading what I'm going to be like at the end of 2 months at base camp without a shower. After another 2 long days travelling, we finally arrived back in Kathmandu. So we've just arrived back in Kathmandu, and just before I left to come away I applied to be part of FS, and I just got a message saying that I've been granted a place on the design team, so I'm going to go and see if one of the guys here can knock up a little t-shirt for me with the logo on it so I can take out the mountain. So last year Rupert and I got a t-shirt made in this shop. In here. And the same guys very kindly agreed to make me the FS logo, so I'm picking up later on tonight and hopefully it looks okay. I've just done all my washing and I've done something really stupid because I only have 2 shirts here and I've washed them both and they're now hanging out to dry, but I'm going to have to wear one of my shirts wet tonight and probably tomorrow on the airplane because there's no way it's going to dry in time. So it's currently the morning of the 12th. Just arrived at the Ronbuk Monastery, which is up there.
Your arse is over the middle of the hole.